Hey, Colorado Springs, Craig Terrasa, a licensed real estate agent and the team lead for the A-Team Agents at Pink Realty. And this is
Jessica Halling, and I'm his assistant and agent in training. And this is
And I am Brandon Hines with LINQ Mortgage. I'm a loan originator here in Colorado.
all right. So today we actually brought Brandon in because we kind of want to talk about home buying 101 and specifically getting approved for a loan.
Right. So, one of the questions that comes up all the time is what is the basics of buying a home?
right. What's the process?
Right. So, it's the difference between the process itself is not as difficult as what people may think. It's actually pretty straightforward, but I think we should probably talk about pre-approval versus pre-qualified.
Yeah, so that's a big one that we get all the time. Yeah, hey, they say I'm pre-qualified, but I bet they're just pre-approved. So why don't you enlighten us on the difference between pre-approved and qualified?
Sure. So a pre-qualified is a conversation. It's a conversation about what do you do for a living? What does your debt look like? Maybe what does your credit scores look like? And we're getting a basic understanding of what we're working with. And giving you an idea of what you may qualify for. So it's
how much house you can
yeah,
buy.
it's
Right.
more like how much house you can buy, but it's more conversation versus a pre-approval, which is getting a little bit more serious. Meaning we're gonna get an application, we're gonna pull credit. We're going to look at your pay stubs, look at your W-2s, look at your bank statements to make sure that your loan is an approvable loan.
Yeah.
Those are the basics of what a pre-approval is.
And let's talk about time-wise. Like how long does it take just to get, we're talking about pre-approved. How
Sure.
long does it take just for that little quick conversation piece?
The pre-qualified piece is maybe a 10 to 15 minute phone conversation. To again, just get the basics of what you're trying to do and what the loan may look like. The pre-approval process takes a little bit longer because you have to get your documentation together, which I don't think people carry their W-2s and pay stubs around with them, but getting us that information is critical. So
It's not my wallet.
No.
I don't carry it around.
no. So once we get your application and we pull credit, that takes maybe 15 minutes total to do that part. Now, if you do have your pay stubs and W-2s and bank statements readily available and you can send those within minutes, typically maybe a 1 hour turnaround time to get you pre-approved. And that is actually issuing a letter of pre-approval.
That's great.
Okay?
And that's what, on our side, that's what we need
Right.
to really go out and show houses because the market is so quick right now. It's
Right.
so fast. If we don't have that letter in hand, we can write offers all day long. Nobody's going to take it serious unless I have that little piece of paper
Right.
from Brandon saying, yep, this is what they're qualified for.
Right. And it does help to have all of this done up front so that I can call a listing agent and talk to them educated about what I pre-approved. I know at LINQ Mortgage, we will not issue a pre-approval unless I see documentation, unless we see it. Because it doesn't benefit you and it doesn't benefit you guys
Right.
if we don't have everything ready to go.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's very important for sure.
Right. So let's talk about what everybody asks. How are the rates?
sure, that's a good question. So rates, definitely, there's several factors that go into an interest rate. Interest rates are at an all-time low. I think over the next 12 to 18 months that rates are going to remain very stable. So that allows you to have more purchasing power. But I believe that people don't buy a house because of an interest rate. They buy a home to put their family in a home. And I think that is something that, that's a very important thing. Rates are important, but it's not the only factor
Right.
of why
Like
you
you said,
buy a house.
it's for your family. It's for security. It's for you want them in the right school district.
Right.
It's where you want to raise a family. Rates are just a bonus if they're low.
Yeah.
It's just an extra bonus for purchasing.
Exactly, and rates right now again they're going to remain low for the next 12 to 18 months. Now, what goes into that interest rate is what's important. There are factors in an interest rate. Your credit score, that's a big driver in what your rate's going to look like. How much house you're buying, meaning Are you trying to finance 95% of the purchase price of the loan? Makes a difference on how your rate's going to look. And let's touch on that, because people hear about, well, I have to put 20% down on my house if I'm going to buy a house.
That's a big one. Everyone thinks you have to have a
Yeah.
ton of money. So
No.
how do some buyers, I don't want to say get around it, but get around it? I mean, how can they do it without having to have a ton of money to the table?
Well, so you can put down, like for example, on a conventional loan, you can put down as little as 3%
On a conventional.
on a conventional loan.
That's awesome.
5%.
I didn't even know that, folks.
3 to 5% is what it is. Now you're subject to mortgage insurance, and people hear mortgage insurance and they think this is a bad thing. Mortgage insurance is very affordable, extremely affordable. So it's a lot less than what people think it is. Now for VA home loans, which Craig and you guys specialize in,
Yep.
100% financing. So that's a great benefit for our veterans. And rates on VA loans right now are the lowest I've ever seen. The
Yeah.
lowest I've seen.
They're
So-
great. They're great right now. So if you just got here to Carson or Peterson or Schriever or whatever, and you're looking to purchase, now is a great time for you to use your VA benefit.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely.
So
Definitely.
absolutely a great time. So, you kind of, we talked about it a little bit in the beginning, and we talked about the process, and what we see is there's a lot of people that are, they're just afraid. I don't know where to begin. I don't know what to do. It's this big, huge, scary process. What would you say to that? Like that fear of even trying, even starting?
I think the fear that people have is the big bad loan officer is going to just deny them, and
matter what.
that's it. They're not going to talk to them about how to become a homeowner or how to get a home loan. They're basically just going to look at their stuff and deny them. That is not the proper way to help someone out.
See ya.
Yeah.
The process itself to get pre-approved, it is scary. No one wants to be told no. And that's probably the biggest fear. But if I can show you
fear
where
of
you
rejection.
stand, fear of rejection, yeah.
Rejection, exactly.
But if I can show you this is where you stand now, and maybe, I never tell anybody no. Maybe not today. and what that means is maybe 6 months down the road or a year, your credit's got back to normal. Things have started to stabilize a little bit more maybe in your career. And then we can get you pre-approved for a loan.
And I like to to tap onto that comment. I like to, when I explain to folks, I get folks all the time, well, I can't really do it, can't really whatever. It's like, it's not a no, it's a not today. And so
Right.
I look at it like, call us if you don't know, call us, at least you'll know. Like, when you go to the mall and they got that big map and it says you are here. That's what, at a minimum, that's what's gonna happen.
Right, very true.
You are here, and now we can help you to go, this is what you need to do to get to where you want to be.
Right.
Right. Very, very true. And I've helped people, a year down the road, even 2 years down the road, have called us and said, hey, I've got some stuff, some credit stuff taken care of. I'm ready to start the process again. Can we take a look again and revisit that subject? And guess what? 60 days later, they're homeowners.
Yeah.
So.
And so that's kind of I don't want to say extreme case, but taking up to 2 years.
Yeah.
But we worked with them, got them. They did stuff on their own, obviously. But hey, we'll work with you and kind of get you give you a target to shoot for. But it doesn't always take a year or 2 years, right? Sometimes they're like, oh, they're really close, and they just need to do a couple of things.
Yeah.
And it can take what's maybe the shortest you've seen where they were really close. They need to do 1 or 2 things.
60 days. I mean, it might be as small as I need to pay a credit card debt that's $1,000 that I have racked up on my credit cards, and I just need to pay it down to $250 balance. And then, hey, guess what? My credit score just jumped 20 points, and now I qualify.
Right.
Right.
So,
So it's not all doom and gloom. Like I said, the worst case is we'll tell you where to start.
Right.
right,
Okay, this
exactly.
is where you are, and now we can give you a direction.
Exactly.
So we're here to get you in a house, but we're also here to help you out.
Right.
Help you
So,
through that fear.
Yeah.
Right, and let's touch on the process itself of getting a loan. The process itself is not as difficult as people think it is. It's very easy for us to get loans approved. It's really getting the customer's documentation in a timely manner so that I can get you to the finish line. And if we can do that,
Yeah.
that'll
once they
solidify it.
get the documentation into
What
you,
documentation is it? that
yeah,
they need?
that's a good one. Let's come back to
Sure.
that. That's an excellent point. But let's say once they get into you, how much work does the client or customer have to do at that point as far as getting the qualification?
Let's talk about somebody who's active duty. Just a quick example. So you get access to MyPay. So all we need is an LES statement, current LES statement, W-2s for the last 2 years. So MyPay has both of those. So we get that and a couple months worth of bank statements, which I think that everybody has access to online banking now. So you can get your bank statements to us within seconds as well. So really it's just a matter of logging into MyPay, getting into your bank account, getting us a couple months of bank statements.
W-2s, which you get sent every year, you typically email.
And that's really it. For the baseline pre-approval, that's it. Now, as far as a full approval, let's talk about that.
Yeah. A little bit different, a little more.
A little different. So a full approval is when, let's say you guys get someone under contract. Now we have to get the loan into underwriting. However, we're way ahead of the game because we're basically about 75% through the loan process prior to contract. So once we get you under contract, then we basically get you into underwriting and get you into a queue. And typically that looks like a 2 to 3 day turnaround time to get an approval, a conditional approval. Conditional approval is basically, hey, you're approved for this loan, but we have a few conditions that we need to make this a full approval. And what that means is we need an appraisal. We need title work. We need your homeowner's insurance. So you're not going to have those three things right up front. But a 2 to 3 day turnaround time to get that loan ready to go, and we're just waiting for an appraisal, title, homeowner's insurance. Maybe we needed some additional verification with your employer. But for the most part, you're pretty much done.
Yeah. And some of that, like the appraisal and things, like we're already by that point, you've already got pre-approved with Brandon. We've already found a house. We're under contract, and we have to wait for the appraiser to happen on the house because we don't know day one what house you're going to get. We just have to wait, and that's part of the purchasing process. Right. That's where we come in as well, as far as making sure that gets scheduled and things like that. So right. It's all tied up in there, and that is part of that. Typically, about after we go find a house, about 30 day process.
Yeah. So.
Well, hey, Colorado Springs, and Brandon, thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
Thank you for giving your expertise and
thanks for having
joining us here with the A-Team Agents. So, if you're looking to buy a home or you're not even sure, give us a call and we'll tell you where you are on the map and give you a direction to go. Have a great day, Colorado Springs. Cheers.